Imagine waking up to police lights strobing across your morning coffee because the HOA president decided your backyard pool was suddenly public property. What she didn't expect was that the quiet new guy she'd been badmouthing for months would turn her little kingdom of rules into her own personal reckoning. The morning I moved into Maple Grove Estates. The air smelled like fresh-cut grass and quiet desperation. Rows of identical beige houses stretched under the Texas sun. Every lawn edged with military precision. Every mailbox the exact same shade of brushed nickel. It looked like the kind of place where nothing bad ever happened, unless you counted the invisible weight of everyone watching everyone else. I bought the house after a rough couple of years. My old corporate job as a compliance officer ended when I flagged some creative accounting that nobody wanted flagged. They called me not a team player, spread whispers that I was difficult. Dramatic. The kind of guy who stirred trouble. Classic. So I took the buyout. Packed up with my husband Ethan, who travels constantly for work. And told myself this sleepy suburb would be different. Peace. Privacy. A backyard pool that my late mother had always dreamed of for us, one of the few things I kept from the old blueprints when we customized the build. I was wrong from day one. Karen Whitaker spotted me on move-in day like a hawk spotting a field mouse. She was power walking in pristine white tennis whites. Clipboard tucked under one arm. Trailing that signature vanilla perfume that hit you like a chemical weapon. President of the HOA. Top realtor in 3 counties. And self-appointed guardian of standards. Her smile was wide. Practiced. And never quite reached her eyes. Welcome to Maple Grove. Liam. I'm Karen. If you need anything. We have a rule for it. She laughed like that was charming. Especially that beautiful pool out back. The board's been discussing how to make amenities more inclusive. I smiled politely. Already feeling the noose. It's private. Actually. Deed says so. Her laugh faltered for half a second. Oh. We'll clarify that. Community harmony first. Right? That was the beginning. Within a week, the neighborhood group chat started buzzing with anonymous concerns about certain residents who might not understand family-oriented values. Someone posted about loud evening gatherings at my address, never mind that the loudest thing at my house was the pool filter and the occasional Zoom call. I knew it was Karen. She'd done her homework. Found old articles about my whistleblowing days. And twisted them into he caused drama at his last company. The gay thing didn't help. A rainbow flag I hung quietly on the back patio somehow became distracting in the monthly newsletter. Subtle. Right? I stayed quiet. I'd learned the hard way that fighting rumors head-on just gives them oxygen. So I smiled. Waved. Mowed my lawn to the exact 3-inch height Karen's email demanded. And watched. Inside. I was taking notes. The first rail shot came on a blistering Saturday afternoon. I was floating in the pool. Iced tea in hand. When heels clicked on the side gate. Karen let herself in, because apparently the HOA master key worked on shared access points, even if the point was my fence. She stood there in full tennis regalia. Binder open. Phone already recording. Beautiful day for a swim. Liam. The board has received several requests about making this space available for community events. Section 4.2 of the covenants talks about recreational features adjacent to common areas. I didn't get out of the water. It's not adjacent. It's on my deeded lot. Built before the HOA even existed. Private. Sorry. Her smile tightened like a rubber band about to snap. We're all about fairness here. Some residents feel it's selfish to hoard resources. Especially when dues pay for neighborhood upkeep. Resources I paid for outright, I said calmly. Check the plat map. You'll see the pool's clearly marked private. She flipped pages dramatically. Well, the board will have to review this. We wouldn't want anyone thinking they're above the community. Then, louder. For the neighbors she knew were listening, it's disappointing when new residents refuse to participate in shared values. I heard curtains twitch. A lawnmower 2 houses down suddenly stopped. Karen had an audience. And she loved it. That night the fine started. First for unauthorized landscaping, my lavender was apparently the wrong shade of purple. Then for excessive noise from water features. Then for my trash can being visible for 12 whole minutes on pickup day. Each one came with a passive-aggressive note signed by the board, Karen Whitaker. President. I paid nothing. Instead, I started documenting. Timestamps. Photos. Screenshots. Old compliance habits die hard. Things got uglier fast. Karen's campaign went nuclear. She organized wellness walks that somehow always paused in front of my house so she could loudly discuss maintaining family-friendly standards. Neighbors who used to wave now crossed the street. Someone left a printed copy of the HOA covenants on my doorstep with the word selfish highlighted in pink. My husband Ethan, home for a weekend, laughed it off. But I saw the tension in his shoulders. We'd moved here to escape drama, not relive it. Then came the first police visit. 6:47 a.m. I was in my robe when the knock came. 2 officers stood on my porch looking embarrassed. Behind them, Karen beamed like she'd won the lottery. Sir, we received a complaint about a safety hazard and possible unauthorized gathering at this residence, the older cop said. Karen jumped in. Voice syrupy. The pool area has been the site of concerning activity. As HOA president, I'm obligated to protect the neighborhood. He's been hostile and non-compliant. I kept my voice even. Officers. The only activity is me drinking coffee. The pool is private. Here's the deed and plat map I printed last night. Karen's face flushed. He's twisting the rules. The covenants clearly. The younger officer cut her off. Ma'am, this looks like a civil matter, not a police one. She didn't like that. Her voice climbed an octave. You're not listening. People like him think they can do whatever they want. People like him? I repeated softly. The silence that followed was deafening. The older cop gave her a long look. We're leaving. Ma'am. Next time, try a certified letter. As they drove away, Karen stood on my sidewalk. Lips pressed so tight they disappeared. For the first time, I saw real panic flicker behind the entitlement. She knew the neighbors were watching from their windows. And for once, a few of them weren't looking away. That was when I stopped being quiet. I spent the next weeks doing what I used to get paid 6 figures to do, follow the money. I requested every HOA financial record, turns out members have that right. Karen fought it. Of course, claimed it was harassment, but the state statutes were clear. When the documents finally arrived, the patterns jumped out like neon signs. Inflated landscaping contracts with her brother-in-law's company. Payments for pool maintenance on community amenities that didn't exist. Large consulting fees routed through her real estate firm right after big vendor payouts. Over $420,000 in questionable transfers in 3 years. Classic embezzlement wrapped in HOA bureaucracy. I didn't go public right away. I built the file the way you build a house, foundation first. Timestamps on every violation notice. Video of her unauthorized gate entry. Witness statements from neighbors who'd finally had enough. Turns out I wasn't the only one she'd targeted. Maria Gonzalez, the quiet treasurer, slipped me bank statements one evening with a whispered, She's been doing this for years. I couldn't sleep knowing. The second police visit was Karen's masterpiece. She showed up at 7:15 a.m. Again. This time claiming I'd threatened her during a routine inspection. The same 2 officers arrived. I met them at the door with a thick binder and a USB drive. Officers. This is the third false report. Here's the full timeline, including video of her entering my gated backyard without permission. Also, financial records showing misuse of association funds. I'm happy to press charges for false reporting and whatever else the DA wants to add. Karen's face went through every stage of grief in 4 seconds: denial, anger, bargaining, then straight to panic. "You can't do this," she hissed. Voice cracking. "I built this community. I protect property values." One neighbor, Mr. Patel from across the street, actually laughed out loud. "You protected your own bank account." Karen. The older cop sighed. "Ma'am. Step back. We're taking a report." The final act happened in the community clubhouse on a humid Thursday night. Every chair was filled. Channel 8 News had shown up after someone leaked the financials. Karen sat front row in a stiff white blazer, clutching her binder like a life raft. Her lawyer looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. I stood at the front with Maria and a couple of other fed-up residents. The projector lit up the screen with the first slide: Maple Grove HOA, Financial Review. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't have to. Over the last 3 years, $427,000 in association funds cannot be properly accounted for. Here are the vendor contracts. Here are the matching deposits into accounts tied to board members. And here, I clicked, is the original deed showing my pool was never community property. Gasps rippled through the room. Karen shot to her feet. "This is a witch hunt." He's angry because we asked him to follow the rules. Rules like no rainbow flags, someone called from the back. Or rules like not stealing from your neighbors. Her face turned an impressive shade of purple. The binder slipped from her hands and hit the floor with a pathetic thud. "You people are ungrateful. I kept standards. I kept order." The detective from the county fraud unit stepped forward right on cue. "Karen Whitaker. You're under arrest for embezzlement, fraud, and filing false police reports." The room erupted, not in chaos, but in the kind of exhausted, relieved applause that comes when a long nightmare finally ends. Phones came out. Karen's perfect hair came undone as she was let out, still sputtering about community values. 6 months later, Maple Grove feels like it can finally breathe. The new board is term limited, transparent, and actually boring in the best way. My pool is still private, but now neighbors wave when they walk by instead of crossing the street. Ethan and I hosted our first backyard cookout last weekend. No one mentioned rules once. I still sit by the pool some mornings, watching the water catch the light the way my mom always imagined. The lavender is still the wrong shade of purple, and my rainbow flag flies a little higher now. Karen's facing real charges. Her real estate career is toast. The woman who weaponized community for personal gain finally learned what actual consequences feel like. Here's the question I want you to answer honestly in the comments: if your HOA tried to take something that was clearly yours, your pool, your privacy, your peace, would you stay silent to keep the peace? Or would you fight back even if it meant becoming the villain in their story? Who is really wrong here, the guy protecting what he paid for, or the Karen who turned rules into her own private ATM? Drop your worst HOA horror story below. Let's talk.